Morning, everyone. Welcome to the FY 2023 CINR webinar. We're going to open the webinar today with Dr. John Gilligan, the Director of the NEUP Integration Office.
Great, thank you, Julie. Thanks for all those attending our 2023 CINR webinar, which includes programs from DOE NE for CINR, also UNLP, which is the Scholarship and Fellowship Program, the DECP, which is Distinguished Early Career, NSUF, and all of those programs combined. So again, thank you for being with us. It's an exciting year for us. We put many, many months of work into, I would say, almost revamping the entire program in one aspect or the other. As Julie mentioned, I'm John Gilligan. I'm Distinguished University Professor of Nuclear Engineering at NC State University, and really the part-time director of the Integration Office for DOE. This is my 15th year with NEUP, when the program actually started. Very pleased to see the progress and the changes that have been made, results that have come out of NEUP over the years. I think one characteristic of NEUP is that we've actually changed a lot over the years and adapted quite well to different needs of DOE NE and other groups that we interact with. And I think you're going to see that quite abundantly this year as the new program is being unveiled. We've actually funded over $930 million to participating universities over the years, and we're very pleased about that. We've seen huge increases in enrollment, especially for graduate students in PhD programs and others over that time period, and as well as seeing the increase of DOE NE budget more than doubled over that time period as well. Let me just mention one other thing. As I mentioned, the revamping of the program this year is fairly significant because we're going to a mission-oriented set of work scopes as opposed to program-oriented work scopes, which may not mean a lot to you, but it means a lot to us internally, which also frees us up to make less prescriptive work scope definitions and opens up the competition, if you will, and peer review to more technical reviews and less relevancy reviews to the programs in DOE NE. So I think you're going to see a different playing field this year as opposed to last year and years before that. So as I mentioned, many months of work that have gone into this new program with approval by and direction from Dr. Katie Huff, who's our DOE Assistant Secretary for Nuclear Energy. Katie has been a long participant with NEUP over the years as a faculty member, and now as the Assistant Secretary is having a huge impact on the program, we think in a positive way. She's a faculty member on leave from the University of Illinois and an expert in the fuel cycle area. And her budget now with DOE NE, as I mentioned, is about, well, it's doubled to almost $1.7 billion. So it's a huge, huge responsibility. And we expect strong budget support from Congress here in the upcoming year as the program importance of nuclear energy continues to grow. So with that, we have a recorded message from Dr. Huff that I think we want to play right now, and then I'll come back and make a few more remarks and then turn it over to Aaron Gravel, who's our team lead at DOE NE. So if we have the recording from Dr. Huff, I think that would be appropriate at the present time, Julie.
Welcome. This year's CINR funding opportunity announcement is focused on increasing the flexibility of the university program structure to allow for university PIs to provide their most innovative and creative solutions to improve the continued operation of the existing nuclear fleet, enable advanced reactor deployment, and advance fuel cycles and spent nuclear fuel management options. The FY 2023 CINR focuses on meeting the goals of NE's mission to advance nuclear energy, science, and technology to meet U.S. energy, environmental, and economic needs. Collectively, all NE-sponsored activities support the department's priorities to combat the climate crisis, create clean energy jobs with the free and fair choice to join a union and bargain collectively, and promote equity and environmental justice by delivering innovative, clean energy technologies like nuclear energy systems. Universities are uniquely equipped to provide DOE with innovative, impactful concepts and ideas while also training the next generation of nuclear energy scientists, engineers, and professionals. We look forward to seeing what the academic community has to offer. NE solicited university feedback to its Nuclear Energy University program structure and its work scope structure through a request for information with a deadline in May. We received 44 individual responses from 20 different institutions. Thank you for submitting them. Each request for information response was evaluated in detail and informed the overall structure and format of the FY 2023 CINR funding opportunity announcement. The university program team will discuss the changes being implemented in this FOA, along with a long-term plan for changes the program will implement in 2024 and beyond in greater detail. Please continue to provide feedback to the program to let us know what's working and where more improvements could be made. High interest changes include broadening the overall work scope areas to allow for applications that focus on the NE mission space. The direct ties to NE programs are still encouraged, and we still want you to be finding ways to connect your work to the work at national laboratories and with collaborators in the private sectors. We also want to increase the number of blue sky areas, including blue sky style integrated research projects and strategic nuclear science and engineering topics. The team is also evaluating implementation of other changes. These include a competitive mechanism for especially successful projects to receive funding for continuation beyond the original project end date. They also include a research experience for undergrads program, modeled off of the National Science Foundation's REU program. We're also considering increased engagement with the community to cultivate future research proposal collaborations, identify the most relevant cutting-edge research needs, and collaborate with national laboratory professionals. We hope to include additional engagement opportunities to share project outcomes, both with NE and the broader nuclear energy community at large. Finally, we're exploring the possibility of a reactor sharing program to increase the engagement of research reactors with a variety of students and stakeholders, including students at historically Black colleges and universities, tribal colleges and universities, minority-serving institutions, and the broader public. I'm so excited to be sharing these changes to the university program with you. They're so important to me as a former academic, and I know they're important to you. I know you'll really enjoy the conversation in the webinar today, so have a great time.
Well, thank you, Dr. Huff. We know you're busy right now. In fact, probably out at Idaho National Lab, talking with our constituents and collaborators there. And I think you can see the excitement that Dr. Huff has for the program. And we share that excitement. We're very pleased to then offer the program this year in, I think, significantly modified form. And so the work scopes that you've received are certainly in draft form at the present time. And many of the programs that Dr. Huff talked about are included in the FOA descriptions that will be sent in the next couple of weeks. So, but just be aware that everything now is still in draft form that you will be hearing about until final changes are approved. So I wanted to summarize just a couple of things that and emphasize a couple of things that Dr. Huff mentioned. This year, the work scopes are much more broad, less attached to the individual nuclear energy programs at DOE. And so it gives the opportunity for faculty to propose a much broader range of topics and proposals and projects, which we think is very exciting. As you see in the work scopes, there are a lot of brief descriptions, harkening back to some very much earlier kinds of descriptions we have with NEUP. And there's also other categories that you may consider applying to as well in each of the topic areas. We also have the blue sky, as Katie mentioned, which had been suggested directly by the Nuclear Engineering Department Heads Organization to capture, say, reactor physics, nuclear chemistry, and thermal hydraulics and heat transfer that I'll be talking about later today. As I was saying earlier, we're adapting many, if not all, of these changes in the FOAs that are coming out in the next couple of weeks or so. And you'll see those in writing as they're finally approved. I think the clear message, though, is that the work scopes, et cetera, are being expanded to be more inclusive, if you will. And I think this is a very good thing. Now, I think the downside of that for you as applicants is that you're going to have to make the case that your particular proposal is relevant and important for the nuclear energy mission, of course, as you're used to doing. So that there's a little bit more of a burden of proof in the proposal as you apply to some of these much broader work scopes for that very reason. So we've shared those work scopes with you. I think some of the clear messages are, of course, the broadening and the less prescriptive language. We're going to $1 million for kind of our standard award, up from 800,000, which it had been for many, many years, to account for inflation and cost of equipment and students, postdocs, et cetera. Some of the eligibility requirements are being broadened and changed, so you need to pay attention to those as the FOA comes out and as we discuss those. Dr. Huff mentioned continuation of possibilities for a small fraction of current projects, and those directions will be coming out later. Possible REU program, reactor sharing, all are very good things. Eligibility requirements for the early career program is also being changed a little bit. The relevancy scores for judging proposals are essentially going away. And now we have in terms of the reviews, they're all going to be essentially technical reviews that are judging the competitiveness of the proposals. So a variety of things happening. I think all are very exciting, very good. I also wanted to share just a few results from last year's competition. In 2022, we had an uptick in the fraction of awards that went to assistant and associate professors, up from about 40% in the previous year to 61% last year. The awards to PIs that are women went up, I think, significantly to 27% for all the NEUP programs. And however, the awards to nuclear engineering faculty actually went down to around 50% from the previous year. I think because of the broadening of the topics and limited number of topics that we had last year. Also, of course, the early career program last year, 100% of those awards went to nuclear engineering, or excuse me, 80% went to nuclear engineering faculty, 40% went to women. The IRPs We had 7 IRPs last year. This year we have only 2, but 2 very broad topics. But last year, 7 topics for IRPs. 43% of those awards went to assistant and associate professor PIs, 29% to women PIs, and 71% of those IRP awards went to nuclear engineering faculty. So I think that was very positive, at least for those general trends that we've seen over the years. I would also say that a large fraction of awards last year and even previously went to applicants, PIs that had national lab partners, collaborators. It's not required, but it was close to 70% did have national lab partners. So that's a trend that we've seen. Also, industry partners, significant, probably on the order of 40% last year. So keep that in mind in terms of who you're partnering with and collaborating with. Not required to have a national lab partner at all, especially given the broad work scopes that we're talking about now. So things are changing, and we think you should be very excited about the program for this 2023 year. We hope that funding will hold and that we'll be able to make significant number of awards. Of course, funding, we don't know until Congress gets through the budget year, and sometimes that's not till the spring, but things right now look very good, and we hope that will hold up. So with that, I think I'm going to see if perhaps there are any questions. There is a way you can ask questions, of course, in the type them in and then have them read aloud, and somebody may try to answer it, including myself. And if we see any questions, we'll go ahead and do that. However, I want to turn it over now to our DOE nuclear energy team lead at DOE, who is Aaron Gravel, who's been involved with the program for many years. And he leads the team at DOE in terms of organizing and making things happen. And we thank you, Aaron, for your support of the NEUP program over the years. It's been a huge, huge success and really brought up the capabilities of all nuclear engineering and other departments, and helped graduate a huge number of students, both at every level, essentially, bachelor's, master's, and PhD. So thank you, Aaron, and to DOE NE.
All right, well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the FY 2023 webinar. My name is Aaron Gravel, and I'm the team lead for the University and Competitive Research Team, which is in the Office of Reactor Fleet and Advanced Reactor Deployment, which is led by our Deputy Assistant Secretary, Alex Caponiti. And my direct supervisor is Subel Shepner, who is the Office Director for the Office of Nuclear Energy Technologies. Our team, the University and Competitive Research Team, manages the Nuclear Energy University portfolio. Over the next 3 days, you'll hear an overview of the various university program funding opportunities, including our Consolidated Innovative Nuclear Research, which is our R&D funding opportunity, our Scientific Infrastructure Support for CINR, which has our reactor upgrade and our General Scientific Infrastructure work scopes, as well as our Distinguished Early Career Program funding opportunity announcement, which you've heard a little bit about this morning. And there'll be some presentations on all 3 of these FOAs throughout today. And as well as we'll also hear a little bit more about our scholarship and fellowship program. Specifically on days 2 and 3, you'll hear several presentations that will provide an overview of the various topics and subtopic areas. Dr. Huff and Dr. Gilligan have both alluded to that structure, and certainly pay attention to those presentations that you're interested in. I do want to thank a few people before we get started today. I'd like to thank the NE team, and specifically the university team for the hard work and dedication to this program. Certainly appreciate their efforts, and this certainly wouldn't be possible without them. And in fact, the others that I'll thank now it wouldn't be possible without any of these people participating and working in this program to get us to where we are today, so that we can get these the information presented and certainly work over the next week or two to finalize changes and the things that we need to in order to get the funding opportunities and our requests for applications for our scholarships and fellowships posted, so all of you can see them and submit your applications. I do want to thank the program managers at NE for their valiant efforts and working in and through the changes that have been implemented this year, as well as our friends and our colleagues at the Integration Office, led by Dr. John Gilligan, who you just heard, and also Drew Thomas, who you will hear from here shortly, and of course all those that are part of the Integration Office that have provided so much support, and just the whole team is just wonderful to work with, and I know many of you have had the opportunity to interact with all of these folks. And then of course I want to thank Dr. Huff and all of our deputy assistant secretaries for their continued support of university programs, and just thank you to everyone, and certainly thank you to all of you who are participating today. We do appreciate your interest in our funding opportunities, and we do look forward to receiving your applications. And as a reminder, before I close, just between what you'll hear over the next 3 days and what will be posted as a final funding opportunity, including final work scopes in our CINR funding opportunity, there could be changes. There could be some minor tweaks. There could be a few things that might be just a little bit different, that we do encourage you to read very thoroughly the funding opportunity announcements that you're interested in submitting applications to. Please read. If you have questions, there are individuals identified in the funding opportunities where questions can be asked, and we certainly welcome those. We welcome your questions this week, as we have the opportunity to, and you have the opportunity to participate and listen to the presentations that will be provided. So again, thank you all for your interest. We certainly do appreciate it, and we look forward to continuing to work with you through the FY23 funding opportunities. And again, thank you, and now I'll turn it back over to the Integration Office.